So good spending habits is that it's not something that is affecting your financial plan. Then bad spending habit, it means it is affecting your financial goal, your financial lifestyle. Then neutral is neither here or there. That means it's not affecting and it's not affecting. It's just, like a bit balanced. Hi there, welcome to the 500,000 Naira Savings Challenge. I am your chief boss babe, Mary Jane. Before we get started with this week's topic and all, I would like to use this medium to first of all apologize for posting this video late. There were so many reasons why it actually happened, but I am one who is trying to work on excuses, and I won't give any at this moment, but I will just apologize and say I am sorry, and hopefully next week I will do better and I will post exactly on Monday. So please do accept my apology. So before we dive into this week's topic, let's do a little bit recap of last week's activities. Last week was all about our relationship with money. We talked about how most of us came from a bad relationship with money and steps/actions that we can take to move to a better relationship with money. So if you're just joining us or maybe you missed last week's episode, this is your opportunity now to pause this video and go and watch last week's video so you can have a more view and understanding of this episode. So also, this is your opportunity, if you haven't subscribed, to subscribe now and tap the notification button to get notified every time we post. So apart from this timeline, which I apologize in the beginning of this video for posting late, we usually post every Monday by 9 p.m. Alright, let's get started. So for this week, we'll be talking about our spending habits and debts. So if you've been joining us from day one and maybe you've forgotten, because the first week we talked about tracking our expenses, the second week was our relationship with money, and now we're talking about our spending habit and debt. Okay, the month of August is centered around tracking our expenses. That's right, that's the theme for the month of August. So we'll be talking about things that affect our expenses one way or the other. So what's a spending habits? Spending habits are usually repeated routines or patterns, usually involuntary, that we do when it comes to buying things with our money. There are basically 5 types of spending habits out there. That's how you use your money, where you use your money, the amount you use, the shopping trigger, and what you do before and after spending. So at the end of the day, using this type, you are able to gauge where your spending habit is. So basically, it's a good spending habit, it's a bad spending habit, or it's neutral. So good spending habit is that it's not something that is affecting your financial plan. Then bad spending habit, it means it is affecting your financial goal, your financial lifestyle. Then neutral is neither here or there. That means it's not affecting and it's not affecting. It's just, like a bit balanced. So getting into the 5 types of spending habits that I mentioned earlier, I will quickly go through it so that this video will not be so long and we can go into the depth part of it. So the first one, which basically was how you spend your money, okay, or how you do your spending. So this is where you ask yourself, how do I spend? Am I a cash person? Am I an ATM person? Do I prefer to pay in installments for huge payments, or do I just pay once? Second type of our spending habit is where we spend our money the most. So this is basically centered around the location of where our money goes to. So you ask yourself your questions like, am I an online spend? Do I spend more online than on physical stores? Do I like to spend more around the same experiences, or I like to try new adventures? Am I more into buying used things, or I prefer new things? Or do I splurge more during vacation, or I splurge when I'm home? So basically, you knowing the location of where you spend most of your money is going to also help to factor what your spending habits is all about. So when it comes to the amounts you spend, so it could be you ask yourself questions like, am I paying more with my credit card, or do I have a spending amount that I give myself every month? Or you can also ask a question like, do I spend like all through the month? Like I have money that runs all through the month, or I run out of spending money before the month is over. So when you know those questions, it determines, okay, are you buying things that are way above your spending habits for 1 month, or you're not? So when you genuinely answer those questions for this particular spending habit, you get to understand that, are you spending way above your spending amount for a month, or you're not. Because if you're spending way above, you find yourself, running out of money, spending money before the month is over. Okay, so the first habit, spending and shopping triggers. So this one really affects we ladies, because when it comes to spending, there's actually a trigger, and we ladies usually have more of those triggers than men. So this is where we ask ourselves questions that, do I spend when I am sad, or do I spend when I'm happy? Because I know some ladies spend more when they're emotionally down. It's the same way with people who have eating disorder, eat more when they're emotionally down. So these are basically triggers. Asking yourself what makes you to spend. You can even go through your closet or your items or your house and look at the things that you bought. Okay, what propelled you into buying these things? So you can also ask yourself question, do you plan for big purchases, or you wait to the last moment? At that last moment, that's when you're seeing that thing you want to buy. At that moment, that's when you're doing your research and then you buy it immediately. Are you that kind of person? When you know the answer to that question, it will help you understand what triggers your spending habits. And now down to the last spending habit, which is what do you do before and after spending. Okay, so this basically shows if you either have a relationship with money or not. So what you do here, you ask yourself questions like, do you actually plan your paycheck when it comes, or before it comes, or you spend first and then weep later and say, why did I buy this thing, why did I not buy this thing? So that's basically how the question works here. So basically these are what the 5 types of spending habits are, and the questions I gave under each of them are to help us gauge where our spending habits lie in each type, and then you can gauge it all around, whether we fall good, bad, or neutral. So you ask, how do I gauge myself? Basically, the questions are self-explainable. You are able to tell from your answer whether it's a good one or it's a bad one. For questions like, oh, do I plan my money before spending, or I wait for my salary to come in first then spend? What's the right answer to that? Come on, especially when we want to be financially intentional. It's obviously planning the money, basically budgeting it down. It's the good habit. Just waiting for the money to come, and the money comes and then you start spending without even tracking your expenses, it's a bad habit. To do this simply, get our journal and write down the 5 types of spending habits, and for each type, write the questions like that I said. So answer them honestly. So going on to debt, we're in an age where debt is really rising due to the whole economy situation. It's not really easy for most of us to move forward, with just what we have. But the thing about debt is not just getting the debt, it's how do we pay off? How do we tackle it? So most of us have received one text message stating this person has borrowed money. Please, the person is a criminal and all. I'm sure if we say, okay, for every 5 people here, 3 people has received that text message, and in a way, what does that say? It means that a high population of us are in debt. All right, so how do we tackle it? There are various methods to tackle it, but this is me bringing it home now. How do you tackle debt step by step? So this is me now giving you my own strategy on how to tackle your debt. It may not work personally with you, but you can tweak it one way or the other. All right, so number 1, know how much your debt is. So if you've collected money from different places, in total, how much do you have? What's the number to your debt? All right, you can put it in the journal. If it's from people or different places, if it's from more than one, you can write the names and maybe start with the highest to the lowest in listing it out. But to income. So if you're not working, this is the time we're going to say, okay, I have to do stuff to get in money, because this thing can be very embarrassing and be like a cloud over your head, and it actually drags down your self-esteem. So you really want to get this out of the way, because it's also affecting your financial plans, your future. And at times, it can even affect your savings and your credibility. Like, you won't be trusted. Nobody will want to trust you. Like, in Nigeria, we have this bad debt book. Your name will be there. Nobody will want to give you money. Maybe when you really need the money for proof of funds to go to Canada, and you've been wondering if it's your village people that did you something. So how do you get that income, especially when you're not working or you're in 9 to 5? Who needs a side gig to help support your financial growth? In our tribe, every Wednesdays we basically talk about self-development, teach people how to get side gigs from the internet, or basically things to get you started up to make more money than you're already making. So join our community in the description link below to get more info on that. So now that you know how much your debt is, you've started getting income, the next thing is to start paying off. I usually advise you pay the bulk money first before you start going for the smaller ones, because once you make that first step to pay that bulk money, you feel relieved. Trust me, you feel relieved. You've paid that bulk money first, and then it's easier for you to pay the smaller money, because when you've paid that big money, maybe it was 20,000 and the smaller money are like 5,000, it's like, what's 5,000? I paid off 20, I can pay off 5. But if you start with 5, for me, everybody's different. Number 3, budgets. You can never go wrong with budgeting. So yes, you have to budget your debt. So basically you're owing 20,000. You can budget, okay, every month I can save aside 5,000 to probably this month to be able to get 20,000 to pay off my debts. Okay, so that way you are having a plan towards it. Unless you want to be paying the person of 5,000 naira. I don't think everybody wants that money to be paid like that, but it depends on you and the person you're owing. Or you can plan towards it and pay off once you reach that target. Don't drag it for so long. Make it a short-term thing within 3 to 6 months, and you pay off depending on how much it is actually. If it is really huge, well, you will need more time than that. Number 4, communicating with who you're owing. I think that's where a lot of things go wrong. We do not communicate with the company or wherever we're owing at that moment to tell them, okay, let's make a plan. This is how much I'll pay you. Let's have a witness. Let's take this to court if you don't believe me. Remember, now you have something that's giving you money. So you're not making this out of hearsays. You're making it out of the fact that, okay, now I know that I earn so and so within this timeline, I'll be able to pay this person within this other timeline. Communicate with that person. You find out that because you have made an effort to communicate on your own end first, it'll be easier. Don't wait for the person to come to you. Communicate with the person and it will be much more easier. You find out that the person will be supporting you as you try to accomplish those agreed commitments two of you have sat together to actually take on paying off the debt. Number 5, making the final payments. So if you notice throughout these steps, it's like more like a growth journey, because from number 1, knowing how much you owe, to getting a stream of income, that is growth. Then from that stream of income to be able to communicate with who you're owing, that's another growth. That's a big self-development growth, and now you're finally making the payments. This is how you are able to get away from debt in my own way, so you can tweak it to what works with you. I don't know how much you're owing. You can actually chat me up if you need help and guidance. Let's talk about how we can pay off your debt and put plans in place to help you. If it's more than the usual amount, way more than the usual amount, we can always tweak this step towards what would work for you. Remember, this journey is not just about me. It's not about you using my own style. It's us finding a personalized style for you. So we have come to the end of this video. Just a quick recap. This week basically is us finding our spending habits and creating a debt plan to be able to pay off our debt, if any, if we do have any. So if you have any questions or you want to get in touch, I'll be leaving my email in the description below. So do please subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and tap the notification bell to get notified every time we post. Please also share our links to family, friends, people who actually need this right now in their life. So till next week, take care and stay blessed. Bye.